Welcome back to the State Farm Analyst Desk. We have said goodbye to Freak for the moment, and hello to our friend Mark Z ahead of Game 2, where top teams Cloud9 and 100 Thieves are facing off in a rematch of the lock-in semifinals. We previewed a bit of this match during the countdown today, but Mark, haven't gotten to hear from you just yet. Your take on this rematch of what was a reverse sweep for Cloud9.
I think the reverse sweep is the part to focus on for me, at least, is because it was such a back and forth series. The first two games, 100 Thieves was kind of dominating them. They were hard slamming. Then they started making some individual mistakes, which we kind of seen crop up in the regular season now as well. These kind of over aggressive dives that have turned things around for 100 Thieves. And at the same time, we also saw the meta in that series evolve, where Global started to get targeted. Demonte was forced off some of his Rise picks, then the Gallios and the TFs, and he's been playing more Orianna now as well in the regular season. So it was kind of in a lot of ways a microcosm for the struggles and changes that these teams have had to go through over the course of the first week of spring. And now it's about seeing what parts of that series will still hold true. You know, we talked about Fudge in the top lanes. That part going to still hold true. Is Demonte going to have a better series now that he seems to have added Orianna to his pool and some of the other champions like Set and stuff? Does he have more in his back pocket when he can't get the globals under his belt?
It was an ultra-tight first meeting between these two teams, and in fact, we had Perks on Bud Light League Lounge just this last week. Got a comment from him in looking back. I'll read it out here. So I think for us, we were just not that good in lock-in. I honestly think we got kind of lucky that we got all the way to 5 games both times. It felt like we were pretty bad, and right now it feels like we're playing much better in scrims and on stage. So some recognition as well for the slow start and how tough it was for them to ultimately overcome 100 Thieves, and saying that he feels a little bit more confident about where the team is at the moment. I'm curious, Primal, if you get a similar sense just from what you've seen so far of Cloud9 in the regular season. Are they better than they were in lock-in?
Ooh, that's tough. I mean, they've had some shaky games, and definitely yesterday gave me pause. I do think Fudge is looking better overall, and I think as he goes, to some degree the team goes, because I think when he's not looking stable, it's something that gets exploited hugely. So overall, I do think they're looking better man for man, but as a cohesive unit, I'm not sure that they're looking as good.
I think the other thing, too, is that other teams are improving as well. So, he can probably feel better about how the team is working right now themselves. But that doesn't mean that they're instantly going to start beating EG, which is one of the teams they lost to, was because EG is also making improvements. So, I don't think it's always a linear comparison. I think it's very possible for Perks to feel better about his team while still dropping some games.
It feels elementary, but actually it's a great thing to point out that it's not like 100 Thieves themselves are also going to retain the state that they were in that best of 5. Both teams are making changes and improvements going forward. And as much as Perks may think they're not performing well at the current moment, Blabber is clearly getting into Closer's head. Take a look.
King, Blabber is the king, man. Blabber is so good, man.
John, here.
No, I don't want to punch you. I punch you, man.
Get the anger out.
Even if you go 0-10, I don't want to punch you.
Yeah. Just go in.
No, I just like, I can't. Pain. Take it, bro. What the is this? Take it. I can't. Look at them. Sorry. Bro, can you guys promise me to go undefeated on LCS or not?
I'm upset. I love this video on so many levels. Number one, it kind of feels like it harkens back to the old MTV, Big Brother days, with the way the cameras are all positioned. But I also just love the shot of Papa Smithy on the phone, just not even entertaining what's going on around him.
I haven't actually seen very many videos of Closer, but he looks like a fun person to play with. I don't really know what he was complaining or crying about. It wasn't really crying. It looked very entertaining to me. He seems like a fun jungler to be around.
I mean, all of 100 Thieves has been super fun to watch. Every time they win, I think that's my favorite part about their games, is watching their player cams after they win.
Yeah, in addition to Closer being super fun, he's also just super good, and I think he's been a top 3 jungler. It's going to have its handful versus Blabber, because Blabber's obviously been on a monstrous tear. But look, there's not going to be any no-flash Camille top, so I think it's going to be a more even matchup and a chance for Closer to maybe overtake Blabber as the best in the league.
Wait, how do we know that the top laner will not go?
I was about to say, you say
how
that.
How do you know this?
I think it's in the LCS rule set now.
Right, yeah. It was a quick addendum. It was voted in. It was ratified by the commissioner. Look, here's the thing. I love also what you just called out, Mark, too, when it comes to just the kind of the overall team environment that we at least sense coming out of 100 Thieves. And I know, Primal, we talked at the top of the day about ditching the Golden Guardians, the 4/5 Golden Guardians narrative, which I agree with that point. But I think what remains, right, of course, is that synergy, is the camaraderie of those players. And as long as they can pull someday into that, those behind-the-scenes look tell me that even when this team does take a loss, be it today or someday in the future, I think this is one of the teams that'll be most equipped to deal with it.
I totally agree, and I don't know if that was a someday pun, but either way, I appreciate you. I think this is a team that has, a lot of. It's a very robust team, both in terms of attitude and the amount of tools they have available. Right, we have Someday who can carry in the top. We have FBI and Hui who are still extremely good. We've seen Demonte, even when he gets some of his staple global picks taken away, he's still very good on picks like Syndra. So I think this is a team that even if they take a loss, they should feel really good about their prospects.
Yeah, I'll cop to it. It was an unintentional someday pun, but sometimes it's just hard to have sheer brilliance ricocheting around in your brain. That's enough from us here at the desk. Let's send it over to Pastry Time and Azale for the call.
Thanks, Dash. I'm here for the actual brilliance of Azale himself, as we are on here for C9 versus 100 Thieves. Going to be a very fun rematch of the lock-in semifinals. 100 Thieves still undefeated and not interested in dropping a game here versus Cloud9.
Should be really exciting. The desk was talking about how Perks feels like Cloud9 is playing at a higher level. I think anecdotally, the eye test does agree with that as well. I think they have been looking way better, and we talked about it during Countdown, start of the day. I am so excited to watch this top lane matchup. Someday absolutely dismantled Fudge in the lock-in tournament, despite the fact that Cloud9 won that series. I want to see the evolution of this young player. Yes, it's only been a little bit of time, but there's only 6 weeks in the season. You have got to evolve fast. You've got to show those week-over-week improvements. And if Fudge and Cloud9 want to be winning titles, want to be at the top of the table, they have got to show that they can match up individually against some of these incredible top laners in this league, like Someday.
All right, well, very quick bans between the two sides. In fact, Blab will not get the opportunity to gank the Ignite teleport Camille because there's no Camille allowed in the game. Cloud9 going to ban it actually themselves on blue side here. Hecarim, Olaf, Udyr, so 3 Blabber bans on the 100 Thieves side. Camille, Renekton, Senna, the Cloud9 bans as well, gets pretty much insta-locked by C9.
Yeah, the insta-lock on it. Talia is still up, which is interesting. The triple bans going over there. Maybe thinking he wouldn't go towards that Talia. As far as champions that Blabber has already played this split that are still available, Talia is up, Kindred is up, Lilia is up, so there still are quite a few options for him. He's not going to be pushed down that far. Anytime Rel comes through, I'm almost expecting Orianna. It just feels like such a strong combo. And Orianna is so popular these days in the meta as well. Plus, you're on blue side, so at least some of your soul laners are going to have to be blind picking. 100 Thieves, though, going to be grabbing the Talia away, so I wonder if they would be looking towards a Leona. But the interesting thing there is, if you take the Leona for the pairing with the Talia, then you're kind of walking into a bit of a self-counter against the Rel, who matches up very well in that bottom lane against Leona.
All right, well, Kai said Talia basically just power picks here for 100 Thieves, matching the Rel, who is very powerful from support as well. C9, though, going in a bit of a different direction here. It's going to be tank duty most likely for Fudge. Samira, though, locked in for Sven, which I don't believe he has played yet this year.
Yeah, he has no games on it, actually, yet this year. So this is going to be his first showing. Of course, he is always a solo queue grinder, so he is pretty experienced on the champion. I'm sure has played it a lot. The Gragas is interesting because the Gragas is flexible here. Could be jungle, theoretically. Could be top lane. We've mostly in the LCS been seeing it just in the top lane, but it has gotten some plays in the jungle around the world. Aatrox coming out here for Someday. So at the very least, we know where Someday is going to be taking his pick. It likely will end up being that Gragas versus Aatrox top lane as more jungle bans coming through here.
Nocto just get him out of there, apparently. Continuing to pick on here. I mean, we did see Close's reaction to how good Blabber is just earlier in the death segment, so it makes sense. He's a pretty good player.
I feel like he's trolling at least a little bit.
You think so? Maybe a little bit of overacting?
Yeah, maybe. 100 Thieves have been known for that, but I love their post-game reactions. One of my favorite things about casting 100 Thieves games is when you get the cameras post-game and then see them popping off. Demonte yesterday with the flex and then the boxing match against the closer. That is some grade A entertainment right there. You love to see that. As 5 jungle bans towards Blabber here as Set gets locked in for what will likely be going down to the bot lane for Hui. So there is the possibility that goes to Demonte. We have seen them do that flex actually earlier this year. But generally speaking, especially over in last year, who he played a ton of set and is a really big fan of the pick.
Yep, and Blabber going to be dropped pretty far down, the at least conventional jungle picks that we've been seeing. Has played Kindred, but has not played Rek'Sai this year, so he's going to be taking that one here.
I want to say this is the first Rek'Sai in LCS this year. Yes. I can't recall a single other one. I'm not sure how much it has been played around the world. It definitely hasn't been played a lot. I'm not sure if it has even any plays. I can probably check on that pretty quickly. But alongside Zoe, so pretty interesting stuff. Yeah, Rek'Sai has 6 picks globally so far this year. So hardly any, to be honest. That's including all leagues, not just top leagues. And it is going to be very likely a TF getting paired up with, and that would make sense with the Nocturne ban, because TF really does sometimes struggle into the Nocturne. Galio will actually be the selection, and it's interesting because this is actually the first time I want to say in the regular season split that Galio and TF haven't been banned against 100 Thieves. Pretty much everyone has just been double banning those 2 champions against Demonte because most people feel like that is where 100 Thieves are best, is when they are able to play the map, when they're able to play that global game. When you think back to a lot of their strongest performances in lock-in, it was around these coordinated 4 or 5-man dives down in bot lane, getting FBI and who he had, even when at times they had fallen behind in that 2v2 in bot lane, they could get them to a lead with this really well-coordinated play. And now again here, you're looking at Talia semi-global, Galio semi-global, who he to set things up and dive in. The Galio ult can come up on top. I would be pretty scared of that if I am Cloud9, so we'll see how well they can track on the other side and try to match those roams or even keep Galio locked under his turret. The Rek'Sai going to be really interesting here to see how Blabber does perform. It had been such a staple in pro play for so many years, but really has fallen out of favor. It's not something I see pretty much at all in solo queue. It's not something I really see at all in pro play. So I'm going to be interested to see what Blabber has planned for us here, if he has a unique take on how to build Rek'Sai or how to approach the game on Rek'Sai that could change up people's opinion.
Yeah, also just interesting to see that, in such a great jungle matchup, actually, Closer versus Blabber, super high level, certainly among the top junglers in the LCS, if not just top 2 right now. Interesting to see Cloud9 say, like, hey, Blabber, you're tanking a bunch of draft bans. You okay with that? And Blabber's like, sure, I'll play Rek'Sai for the first time in the LCS this year. Totally something I can do. As 100 Thieves, they've got a plan. Zixol at it again here. It's 100 Thieves are going to be moving into the bottom tri-bush, which is already warded.
Yeah, that's nice, as they can at least get a counter invade and get some wards down. You can see Fudge heading over. Sven is fully aware of this. It may change where Blabber has to start, and I really want to see if Blabber is going to go for kind of the solo queue build of Rek'Sai, which is generally Prowler's Claw. That seems to be the most popular. Like I said, I'm not seeing the champion a lot, but Prowler's Claw seems to be the go-to by far. But it's also not what you would think of when you're expecting competitive play, right? Like even when you get Rengar, you're expecting the more tanky build, you're expecting the Gore Drinker and Sterix, you're expecting that sort of more defensive play. So I want to see what Blabber is going to give us. I would be really excited to see that kind of full-on lethality style, as 100 Thieves are still here, 4-stacked in the brush. So if Blabber goes in, it could actually be a fight here. They are set up for it. Fudge is even around. Cloud9 knows that this is a possibility. Their top laner is even still here, as Perks can't check the brush because the camp spawned.
Yeah, Raptors block the queue there.
Oh, they're spotted.
Timing, but they are just going to start this here. Fudge is still here, remember, and someday should communicate that top laner isn't here by now. So everyone's going to see what's up. 100 Thieves are continuing on the level 1 fight, and Perks and Fudge maybe cut off Demonte here. Needs to use this 5-man advantage. Blabber does at least get the red buff. So Cloud9 just going to chase 100 Thieves out of their jungle, looks like. Nothing else going to really come of that. So Fudge going to have to sacrifice his teleport, actually, and a bit of lane farm.
This is interesting, because so Closer is very delayed on his level 1 start. We kind of have to break down what the 2 teams got. Fudge is definitely put behind. He lost not only his teleport, but he missed minions. He missed gold and experience. Closer resetting the blue, though, that is actually a disaster, because now he's starting his first camp at 220. That is really, really rough. We didn't actually get to see exactly what happened with that. Just caught the tail end of that camp resetting. So Closer is going to be put so far behind now. Now I almost don't even care about the teleport, because Demonte did take some poke, so he lost the potion level 1. Perks is going to have a bit of an advantage in that solo lane, but Blabber is going to be so far ahead of the pace you have to expect. He's already on his 4th camp as Closer starts his 2nd.
Yeah, Blabber going to be flying through the jungle here as Vent in the bottom side took a lot of damage. As 100 Thieves ding level 2 first. They've got a big wave crashing in as well. Oh my god, they're doing it. I was going to predict the dive, but here it comes. Ven going to get ignited already. 100 Thieves going to pick up first blood. Indeed they will, as FBI does grab it. He's taking damage from Vulcan though, but Someday actually the one down here. They're going to get the second kill. 100 Thieves, the level 2 dive finds both kills.
Oh my god, they're too good at this, Pastry. It's gotta be illegal. Pulling off these plays constantly. Now looking for a dive on Demonte, who's still level 1.
Blabber, oh, that's such a good counterplay there. But Blabber now going to run into Closer. No, goes back towards the bubble, which is of course his teammate. So nice exit there from Perks and Blabber. As the TP burnt by Demonte, very quick death time is here at 3 minutes 30.
Yeah, and especially when you're still, he's level 1, right? You know, that is ridiculous. Got zoned off all of that experience in the mid lane, but down here on that bottom side, they have the push. Everyone is laning so aggressively in this game, you know, zoning off of experience, not allowing them to get towards level 2. And you notice Huhi just pulls aggro and then just knows he doesn't even need to contribute damage. He just needs to make sure that no counter kill is given. He's standing out max turret range, holds the aggro until they get that kill. Then Perks, off of all those autos in level 1 trading, he actually got down on Demonte from that invade. Demonte was playing it far back. He's still level 1, hasn't gotten any experience. The flash knockup after the E over the wall from Rek'Sai. That is always one of the frustrating things about playing against this champion, is that the gank paths can be very unpredictable. It's impossible to ward out all the angles that Rek'Sai can come from, and he is going lethality. So I think we're going to get Prowler's Claw, and I am so excited to see how this does turn out, because I do think when you're going for this sort of style, you have got to snowball early on. It is really tough to team fight on a very squishy Rek'Sai. Sure, he could go Prowler's Claw into tank or something to mitigate that a bit, but it's going to be tough. There's a lot of CC over on the other side.
That W
squeeze away
would have killed Sven, I think. As
with the
FBI just barely going to miss it there with the plasma fully stacked up. Also, massive credit to Perks, by the way, for zoning Demonte out for as long as he did to keep a 2-level lead for Blabber to set up probably the easiest dive of his career. However, Cloud9 now going to be looking down to the bottom side. It's 4v2 as Huey going to try and save FBI, but FBI no flash, no heal, no hope as Perks is going to take him down and Closer far too late there as he does get a good bit of damage done onto Vulcan, but not enough to get the kill.
Yeah, Perks has his heal as well, so you don't want to overcommit on this as 100 Thieves. They could even try to reset up the dive. I think they're going to go for that. Knowing they have the heal here, they at the very least want to push the back off the tower.
All right, Huhi, good grab there, going to try and save the day, but not enough there. The pre-kill does happen though, but now Asleep is closer. The second kill is there. Blabber is going to die for it, so a 2 for 2 under 100 Thieves outer tower.
A 2 for 2 in a 2v4 is very good from 100 Thieves. And Huhi with the perfect clap there, snapping 3 members from Cloud9 together. So Closer could get that multi-man seismic shove. That is making the best out of a bad situation for sure. Really impressive stuff from him. But Cloud9 do get the win in the extended play as they had already knocked down some of the 100 Thieves members. They punish the bot lane. They get their bot lane back into it. As you can see them going in here, they wait for Vulcan to set it up. He flashes in with the W so Blabber can catch up. The first kill goes down immediately. And then with Perks having the heal, they're like, hey, we have enough people. We have enough health to actually do this. But Huhi repositions with the Hex Flash. 3-man clap together there, getting so much damage down with the seismic shove that they also can't even survive the tower. So a second member does go down even after that first kill has been grabbed by Cloud9. Really nicely done by Huhi, making the best out of a bad situation. And they still have huge amounts of pressure down here on this bot side because Sven, he was involved in those kills, but didn't pick up any of the kill credit. And he's down nearly 20 CS, plus that kill that FBI has. So is pretty far behind as far as the itemization and power right now.
All right, well, we finally had a moment to check in on top side, but I don't think it's going to last too much longer. Fudge is currently losing the 1v1, but he does have a big wave pushing towards his tower, so I'm guessing the farm is going to be pretty close to even. Someday, though, does have the push, so he's going to roam down and get a bit of vision down into the river. All this space, though, as it looks like Cloud9 are resetting, or at least just getting pushed in with Closer being pretty powerful at 2-1 and 0, do get themselves the first Drake. Someday does get the Scuttlecrab here on top side, which is always nice. And it's kind of going to be the battle of Blabber versus Closer in the best way possible. They're both 2-1. Blabber does have a bit of extra assist money. Perks is also pretty far ahead on the Cloud9 side. He's actually been involved in all of the kills that they have so far. But the kind of action I think we wanted from this game, not necessarily what I thought we'd get, but I do appreciate that both the teams are fighting as hard as they are in this early game to eke out advantages.
I just think it's amazing how consistently we are seeing teams go for these dives this season. It feels like more than ever before we are seeing teams go for these really, really aggressive early game dives. And 100 Thieves does it more than anyone else. And because their execution is generally so on point, it's just really tough to respond for it. You know, last week they had some misplays, they had some failed executions on those potential dives, and you kind of wonder, okay, well, are they going to take it back a notch? Are they going to really play it more safe this week? And instead, they just go right back to it, and they just depend upon superior execution. They depend upon the fact that they can outplay in these dives, and they can really make it happen, just like they did in the lock-in, which is really exciting to watch and really impressive to see.
Yeah, I'll be honest, when that first dive happened, I saw the wave and was like, huh, that's a really good wave to dive on. But they probably won't do it, because last time they got punished. And then somebody insta-TP'd onto the creep.
Yep.
And I knew I was wrong. So really love to see 100 Thieves going back to that and continuing to say, yep, we can do this. We have confidence in our ability to execute, and certainly they should, based on what we've seen. But things are quietening it down a little. 100 Thieves up about 600 gold and a dragon in this early game, but still a lot of minutes left to play here, as I can't imagine that the teams are going to stop fighting each other, as Perk's actually down here to the bottom side to try and clear out the wave, as FBI is getting a lot of good turret gold, who he going to have to run out from under the Zoe bubble. But Perk still continuing to threaten here. Does have the Lost Chapter and the Sork Shoes, so pretty strong right now on the Zoe. And a situation he has been in before, actually bot lane Zoe alongside a support. But he's actually down here just visiting his old lane there. Oh, that's a combo there from Vulcan, who he, although does have the W charged up, but FBI not going to be able to grab that kill. It's Vulcan that will collect one.
Yeah, just
Perk's
knocking down who he is. Perks wants more, and that's his
good
second
instinct.
ignite on FBI.
That was close. FBI still
That
could
was
have been
really
killed
close.
there. All right.
Yeah. He had
as I
the
say
stealth thieves. Go ahead.
No, you good?
He had the earlier Spell Thief's Ignite that he actually dropped on FBI to soften him up, and then had his own Ignite still available here. And they go in onto who he pops the shield, but just gets knocked off there by the Q from Vulcan and absolutely deleted. Then picking up a second Ignite, it looked like, actually going forward, just barely not able to connect with that Paddle Star. I'm not sure if it would have been enough, given that FBI was in the Kai'Sa ultimate, had that shield up. But really nice set of plays there from Perks and Vulcan, really getting aggressive down on that bottom side. And meanwhile, the whole time, Sven was getting solo experience and actually picking up farm. So he's now caught up in farm during that, which is kind of the hidden benefit that we weren't seeing off screen.
And as a result, Perks and Blabber are the current gold leaders in this game. Perks, understandably, he's 2-0-3, still 100% KP for Cloud9 as Fudge and Someday are doing battle, and Fudge is losing the 1v1. But going to be a-okay. Gragas is going to be tank Gragas this game. Just going to drink up and proc that passive, and Fudge should be just fine there. Not really a worry there in the pure 1v1 unless something goes horribly wrong. But, Azael, we have arrived. Prowler's Claw has now been finished for Blabber.
Okay, well, this is going to be really, really exciting. Prowler's Claw, pretty much not something you see it in competitive play at all, because there's just not a lot of lethality champions these days that people are actually going for it on. You know, it does give you the additional dash. It gives the damage on the completion of the dash, plus bonus damage dealt to that target for the next, 3 seconds. It's 15% bonus damage. And the reason it works so well with Rek'Sai is because your damage is so front-loaded, but we're going to see 100
Oh
Thieves
my
diving
goodness,
again.
he insta-flashes in, finds 2 with the clap, and now Sven gonna have to dance around with a little shield there, but it's not enough to save Vulcan, who is gonna die to close it. Demonte there, however, is going to fall. He did move down there, and that bubble from Perks is perfect, as it's 2 kills already there for Cloud9. Gonna make it maybe 3 on the closer, as that maybe gets popped early. Blabber, though, he's gonna chase it, and the Prowler's Claw finds him on top of it, and FBI is gonna be forced to flash away. And Perks, he's so close, and that flash is good enough for Blabber to get the double kill.
Oh, what a play. The immediate payoff on the Prowler's Claw from Cloud9. This time, 100 Thieves gets punished big time on the dive. Vulcan was around. Blabber was around. They didn't know that Blabber was here, though, I do not believe. So Hui flashing in, the teleports coming through. The start of the play did look great as Vulcan gets knocked down. But as Blabber arrives, Hui dies to the turret. Perks with an incredible long-range sleep there, landing then in with the Q on the sleep, ultimate to follow, Prowler's Claw to get back ahead of him, and then FBI softened up here. Blabber finding the angle for the Q, does land that, getting another kill. Cloud9 explosive early on, and we're getting the answer to yet another question here. As Blabber, he's not going tank after that. He picked up 2 more long swords.
You love to see it, and my goodness, going to be a nice compliment to Perks Zoe, who's absolutely filthy this game. I will say, Blabber almost doing Perks dirty, waking up set early, but worked out in the end. They still got all the kills. Closer, though, going to get the Drake there for 100 Thieves. It's 2-0 now for them, which is good, but Cloud9 have taken, a small gold lead that 100 Thieves had and completely inverted it. They're up about 4K after that set of plays there. So 100 Thieves going to have to really lean on those Drakes in these next few minutes because Cloud9 not giving them all that much room in this early game as we watch what happened topside, actually.
Yeah, Someday looking to get aggressive, but Vulcan just on the roam. He has the E proc for the stun into the W, and then I assume Fudge having flash. Yep, E flash in with the body slam there to finish off the kill. Great roam from Vulcan and nice execution to finish that off from Fudge. So able to punish Someday. Top lane going a lot better, you have to say. Yes, it is a pretty weird game with people TPing away from lane, with Fudge having to TP 2 lane level 1, but Blabber's back up here again. 100 Thieves members are in the area, but they may be too little too late.
Oh, what a setup by Fudge. Just knocks Someday away with the ulti combo after the belly bop, and Blabber just going to move on in slowly. Prowler's claws forward. Oh my god, the damage! Blabber on a killing spree. Is now Demonte here, Hui with a good ulti, but actually going to miss the Galio knockup as a result. Still doesn't matter. Fudge way too far away from safety as Closer will get the kill.
Yeah, you can see Perks on the move up, but I think it's just going to be nothing more happening up on that top side. Ends up being the trade of top laners, but does cost 100 Thieves more as they had the extra members in the area and the Galio ultimate was dropped, and now they're finding Closer.
At it again, flash in, Closer just going to get deleted. Yep. Oh, Blabber on a rampage, 6-1 and 2.
Oh my god, he is really making it work. I talked about the need to be able to play aggressive, to snowball games when you're going for this lethality style on the rec side. He is doing just that, running around the map, taking down players left and right, and now finding Demonte, but FBI is here behind him.
Cloud9 unrelenting, but here's Ven as well, but still, I don't know if this is a good look here. Blabber, they're going to get the kill. He does get one, but he gets shut down for 800 gold by Hui. Still, Ven is spinning around. Josh is back forward here as Perks now finally in reserve. 100 Thieves, yeah, going to have to back away from the perk of Pokes as FBI eats almost all his health bar from an unempowered Q. Nobody was asleep at the wheel that time, but Cloud9 continuing to play into the 100 Thieves aggression and coming out on top. Hui, oh god, bye. Electrocute just pops off as Perks aims the paddle star perfectly between his eyeballs.
A double buff transfer completed there. There you go, Perks. Don't say Blabber didn't do anything for you. Giving you a blue right there. So Blabber now gets a free pass to take the next blue buff, of course, as all jungle mains know. And I love that we had the camera on Hui right there. We got to see the player cam as he gets deleted. Just a little head tilt, a little shake of like, I can't believe that. This is Zoe.
Well, can I have to stop believing because it's mythic item already done. Sork Shoe's done 10 stacks on the Dark Seal. That is the maximum for the ring. I imagine the upgrade is coming forth here. Perks 3-0 and 5, just throwing bubbles everywhere. I mean, FBI, you can't eat this. Yeah, you have to supercharge her away. Perks is just unrelenting in this pressure here. Finds the Shirelles off the ground, pops it, and then is running straight back for more as FBI again. If he eats a stray skill shot from Perks, he's going to die.
Definitely. Got no MR, you're building no HP, you have no heal available. The amount of damage that Perks can put out is pretty frightening. He's been playing it very aggressively on the Zoe, and he is really, really strong at this point. And despite the fact that the shutdown was grabbed, off of Blabber, he did die in that fight. So you want to talk about how that's a big deal for 100 Thieves, but it's the support set who got it. So in the end of the day, you don't really even care that much. It's pretty much the best person to give that to if you are Cloud9. So Blabber, more lethality being purchased up, and the passive on the Prowler's Claw gives you even more lethality every time you complete a legendary item. So he's going to be doing near true damage to some of these squishy members, and that is incredibly frightening if he can execute on it. But he's got to be careful because if he gets loaded up.
FBI does Gale Force away. Perks does have a flash, but didn't have enough distance. Also, Hui and Closer forced to defend from the incoming Zoe. So it does get away. FBI eats an errant skill shot, but not going to be worse for wear this time. But Someday losing pressure on his tower because multiple people have been up in his lane right now with Fudge setting things up. Blabber is still the richest person in this game. Cloud9 are up 5,000 gold, and Blabber has finished item number 2, and it's only going to get worse from here.
Yeah, it looks like he grabbed the Edge of Night there. So giving him a little bit of protection when you do dive in. Before they can land any sort of CC, they're going to have to knock that spell shield off. And as we have seen, you don't have a lot of time where you're alive with that Rek'Sai on you to be able to knock that off and then land the CC. Just kind of adds that extra layer of difficulty for them to deal with. And of course, As I said, more lethality from the item, more lethality from the passive is just making the amount of damage that he can do on this Rek'Sai incredibly frightening. He's 2 levels up on Closer. Anytime he finds Closer, Closer is just going to be pretty much instantly dead. And even FBI will not be safe whatsoever if you get caught out by this Rek'Sai. You could easily get soloed.
No one is safe, Azale. That's what I've learned over the last few minutes in this game, that everyone is willing to dive in aggressively. Blabber and Perks do way too much damage, and 100 Thieves are going to try and get themselves this third dragon, but I don't think it's going to happen. So the Soul Snowball will likely be stopped here. Perks is just threatening everyone. He walks anywhere near, about a screen away. It feels like he can get the kills. So Sven is going to get tagged up by FBI. Blabber already starting the dragon, maybe a little bit premature. So we'll actually go over to FBI as Huey's going to dive in there. Galio going to try and defend in. Vulcan going to get knocked around, and that will be a kill. Yes, indeed, FBI will collect it, but now has to dance away as Demonte going to be chased off. And now Sunday finds the angle. What a knock up there, followed up by the Aatrox, and FBI charges in to pick up that kill. And now more here's Blabber going to get caught out of position. It's a triple kill out of FBI. 4 straight there for 100 Thieves. They'll take it for the 2 deaths they endured.
Oh, the wheels just fall off for Cloud9. These last couple of minutes have been so good for them. But it just shows you how far ahead they were when they're still at 4K after this. Cloud9 just really got zoned off that dragon so incredibly quick. Blabber was still in the pit on it, but he's actually forced to retreat as the rest of 100 Thieves is coming in from multiple angles. All of Cloud9 just running out to the side. Then Someday going in, knock up on both Perks and Sven. Allows FBI to ult into the backline, knock him down, picking up a triple kill as well as a kill onto Blabber there. They're at soul point now, so despite the fact that Cloud9 are way up in gold, that was such a huge play for 100 Thieves, and they have this potential win condition of the soul well within reach now.
Yeah, also showed that, like, can't just, like, mess around in team fights and, like, hope everything's going to work out, because 100 Thieves have the ability to navigate even at a deficit like this, so very impressive there for Someday to really set it all up. FBI, of course, knocking the pins down as Someday set them. And Perks loses a couple of Magi stacks, which has to feel bad. Did purchase that book, had 10, now only 6. Still perfectly good. Again, the threats on Cloud9 are very real. Both the Zoe and the Rek'Sai are extremely powerful, but 100 Thieves are showing that not only can they play towards this Dragon Soul now, but they can certainly navigate team fights if Cloud9 disrespect them on the execution or just potentially make a misstep. So 100 Thieves still with a pep in their step are going to move things forward into the mid lane. Need to knock down a couple towers, but he getting aggressive. Going to be forcing Blabber out towards his own tier 2 towers as 100 Thieves do a little bit of scouting in the jungle.
Yeah, we also saw the difficulty of execution, right? You know, when you're playing things like the Zoe and the Rek'Sai, it's not always consistent damage. You know, the real consistent damage dealer that they do have is Sven, but Sven is pretty far behind. You know, he has really had a pretty rough game. They got Dove at level 1. He has been behind from the word go, and now FBI picking up a bunch of these kills puts Sven even further behind. And Samira really is one of these feast or famine style of champions, because if you're ahead, you're strong enough to get these resets, to dive into a fight, survive, lifesteal tank, kill everyone off. And when you're behind, you start to feel pretty worthless because you don't have the survivability from all the additional items coming through. You don't have the damage to actually burst people down in these team fights, and you have to position so aggressively to really get a lot done on Samira, which is just really tough when you're having a rough game like this.
Yeah, I mean, Shieldberg going to help out, but not that much, as it's already collected done for FBI on top of his Mythic, so certainly ahead there. And the gold front, as 100 Thieves, I'm sure, will be leaning on FBI to kind of get them through the mid and late game. But Someday, not afraid of Fudge. No one here, though, so doesn't need to be afraid of Fudge trading back there with the body slam. But Sven at least going to collect some farm here in mid. Cloud9 still very much have all the map control in this game. It is just the one tower for 100 Thieves, and it's in the bottom lane. So very limited access to the river, and especially, of course, the enemy side of the map, as Cloud9 going to continue to sweep out all this vision. Blabber there using that sweeper through the enemy jungle, and going to take the Raptors for good measure.
Yeah, going to be able to take that away. Going to be feeling pretty good about that. And he does have a stopwatch for this next fight, which is pretty important because it allows him to really throw himself aggressively into the backline, try to get a full combo onto someone like FBI, potentially kill them off, then stopwatch to buy time for the rest of his team to come through and really follow that up. But I think so much of this game is really going to come down to this next fight, because if 100 Thieves grab the soul, that is such an enormous advantage. It's not just about the activation, you know, that burst of move speed when you pop your ulti. People talk a lot about that, but the flat 10% move speed is actually really, really big, and something I think is often underestimated. So if they can win that fight and get Soul, that's huge. But at the same time, post 20 minutes, if Cloud9 gets a big team fight win, they can get Dragon and Baron as well. So you have to be pretty careful about how you're approaching this. And with only 35 seconds remaining until the Dragon is spawning, it's 100 Thieves who have a lot better setup in this river. They have the earlier approach here. They have more wards in the area. It is going to be Someday looking like his ult was forced, so that is a pretty big loss, as potentially they could get something done here.
Good look on a Fudge here, but he does dodge a Seismic Chop still. Who he going to burn the ulti to make sure they get the kill, and I like that decision as FBI now on a rampage, able to pick that one up.
That is rough. Fudge just kind of wandering over there by himself. They knew people were in the river, and giving up that kill means they probably lose Soul now, unless you can depend on some sort of a crazy steal here. But look at Galio. He's actually flanking here on the TPs, coming in from multiple angles. Perks is probably just going to die.
Ban the target.
Yep.
Oh, he gets them both there. Perhaps there is Blabber now fighting in the midst of it all. Demonte, they're going to pop the stopwatch. Just Someday trying to charge in. FBI, they'll open up. Takes down the Rel. And now Someday continuing to extend the team fight. Double kill there for FBI. Someday gifts Sven to his marksman. And now Perk trying to fight back with the bubbles, but FBI is going to make him pay a triple kill for the 100 Thieves Kaiser, as they're going to get the Dragon Soul as well.
And this could be the game-winning fight there. Fudge getting picked off at such a critical moment. The entire game building towards this crescendo. We'll see if Blabber can get any sort of a kill onto Someday here, but they're gonna lose the Baron. They're gonna lose everything off of this. You lost Soul, you lost that fight because you had to force it 4v5 to try to prevent the Soul after your top laner got picked, and now you're gonna lose Baron here as well. 100 Thieves on the verge of clinching this game. It feels like Cloud9 in the area, but can Blabber even get in the pit to try to attempt it?
Lost the gold lead as well. Demonte going to pop the ulti on a Someday. Blabber underground does Zhonya's, but doesn't kill Someday. Now he's not going to be able to steal it. Going to be forced to flash away, and they're going to try and kill him instead. Blabber looking for a counter kill, but doesn't get it. And it also doesn't matter. FBI's legendary. Fudge is going to make him pay. Very nice combo alongside Vulcan for the stun. So Fudge collects 1,000 gold, but Closer, oh, he didn't get the Baron. I thought he did. He died to Baron. That's what I saw.
He died. Yeah, and this could be the counter Baron now because they actually lost so many members there. Neither team has a jungler, but Cloud9 has the extra members. It's 4v2 right now. Will 100 Thieves try to attempt this? Was a huge stop by Blabber and Fudge. 100 Thieves peeling for the fight, but losing too many members and tanking that Baron damage was critical. I mean, he has the stolen smite.
Gonna just have to fight here.
It.
Oh, that's very nice. Very nice smite for Perks. Had it under control. And like I said, I saw a jungle icon and the Baron icon. I was like, oh, they finished Baron. That's nice. Not what happened at all.
So this is after Fudge had already been picked off. Cloud9 feel like they have to force it, and just such a good flank here, taunting up both of the carries there. Yes, Sven had the cleanse to get back out over the wall, but that really was fight over already. Sven kiting it back. Blabber does survive. Perks decides, okay, land the sleep, gonna go in here and try to get some damage down, but he got burst down. Then on the other side, we see them turning onto Someday. 100 Thieves peeling for the fight. Closer, though, is tanking Baron this whole time. Look at Closer. He is just solo tanking Baron. 5, 6, 7 shots, something like that. And he just got straight up executed by the Baron there. I don't even know if Cloud9 got an assist on that one.
I don't think so.
It's the MVP 6 man right there as the Baron for Cloud9 as Closer gets solo killed by the Baron, and it allows Cloud9 to actually get the Baron for themselves after that play.
I know you're fond of this one, Azael, so I'll say it. If you don't laugh, you'll cry in that kind of situation. And Cloud9 will take the tragedy of that Baron pit set up there by 100 Thieves, and they'll grab that Baron buff for themselves. They retain the gold lead, which they weren't going to have once 100 Thieves finish off that Baron, and C9 getting away with that one. Now themselves the ones sieging with the Red Bull Baron buff down through mid lane. FBI, no cleanse by the way, does have stopwatch, which is good to note, but FBI has very little margin for error in these situations, and both Perks from long range and Blabber from right up close are ready to jump on the carry at any moment they see available, as they will take the top tier 2.
I will say, though, I still like 100 Thieves' position in this game. You know, if Cloud9 can get a pick and close out the game, that's great. But if not, I mean, just compare the two marksmen, right? And yes, Blabber is really, really strong on the rec side, but the later it gets in the game, it's so hard to actually have effective team fights on this champion. It's very, very difficult to consistently be able to get into the back line, access a carry without getting taunted up, and you can't fight front to back on a rec side. You can't just open up on the Galio or the set support and expect the fight to go well, because you are very squishy. So we'll see what Cloud9 can get done here, because they need to play around vision. They need to find poke and picks with the Zoe, with the Rek'Sai, because if you fight straight up front to back, there's a beefy front line, there's an incredibly fed marksman. 100 Thieves have the tools to still win this game despite the gold deficit.
Yep, 2 stopwatches as well. Someday has the other one, but he's maybe going to need it here in top lane as Fudge TPing up with Blabber. Now Someday going to have to book it. Does get spotted there by the Scryer's orb, but Someday going to hit it down. Now in the alcove, trying to fight for his life, gets himself warded out. Closer here as well, but Vulcan maybe going to cut that off. Weave as well going to get used, but Vulcan is going to get him. Perks also trying to cut him off as Blabber did pick up Someday, but FBI now needs to be careful. Perks going to flash. What a great killer instinct for FBI. He needs to leap here as the rest of the team are going to jump on him, and he just can't, as Sven is going to spin around and take him out with the Infernal Trigger. And Damonte, the only survivor of the Cloud9 assault, is now going to run for the hills as Cloud9 look to finish off their Nexus. And thumbs up, it's about all he has left here.
Yeah, I thought that Cloud9 was going to get one pick there, but everyone from 100 Thieves decided to try to pile in and bail out Someday instead of just taking the L on that one death, and it ends up resulting in so many deaths. But there's no way that they're really getting as much as they should have from this, it feels like, because everyone's chasing Damonte across the map, and he gets the execute.
All right,
They
nice.
chase him across the whole map. They don't even get an inhibitor tower for it.
Goes from top outer to bottom inhibitor tower and get himself executed. So a nice little journey for Damonte as he does find himself dead for 35 more seconds, but not giving gold over to the enemy team. Most importantly, Sven, though, certainly can see when the fights go his way how much opportunity he has to just let damage rip through the ranks of 100 Thieves. Thankfully for them, the Nexus stays intact. Their inhibitors and their respective towers also stay up, so Baron is off. Elder Dragon is up in 30 seconds, and we're going to have another fight in just short order, which feels pretty par for the course in this game. It has been very back and forth.
It really has. A lot about team fighting here. Cloud9 obviously coming out big in that last one, but let's be honest, it wasn't a straight up team fight. It was, Someday way too far up the lane, gets caught out, and Damonte did die, but he delayed so much time. Now he's TPing in. 100 Thieves need to wait for him. Look how fast he is.
Fudge going in as well. Weavers will actually cuts off Fudge. Now Damonte zooming in, but doesn't find anyone with the taunts. Van actually dashes back towards his top laner to stay safe, but the Elder Dragon going to be the big prize here as 100 Thieves and Cloud9 square off for it.
They're losing control of mid lane, though. Sven has actually pushed this out, so 100 Thieves now are just committed to trying to go for this, but they're getting kind of pincered off here with Perks over behind them, Blabber coming in from a different angle. Cloud9 can just maintain the push in mid and top. They have a pushing lane in bot as well, it looks like. So 100 Thieves have got to decide what they want to do. If you don't actually go pretty quickly here, you're going to start losing a lot to these minions potentially.
I like the patience here of Cloud9 as well, just using the Zoe poke right. It's one of the things she's so good at. Cloud9 slowly scoring them off. Blabber actually has found the angle. FBI is going to be the target. They get in there with the flash knocker, but FBI is going to kill her instinct away, and he's taking so much damage. Ulti out of Blabber is enough, but the Resurrect does come in. And that is not going to be the kill, as Talia is able to kill up Blabber. Now Damonte moving back in with the taunt. FBI still alive somehow, but he goes to sleep. There's the stun. Sven now going to dash in there as they will pick up the AD, and now a double kill for Sven. He's going to be spinning around in style as Damonte will be chased down, but Perk's going to have to go back from the portal jump. Blabber the only one left dead on the Cloud9 side, but that's 3 kills that they picked up, but Damonte likely going to be the 4th, perhaps the 5th. Play Hallelujah as Someday going to have to dash away to safety.
Yeah, they just stop chasing Damonte, just kill the Elder. They don't need to kind of continue for these plays. Damonte was able to buy so much time last time they were chasing him around, so they do give up the chase here, but Cloud9 coming up so big. It was looking like they were going to lose that fight. After Blabber did trade out his life, he got the GA, but he died for it. And initially, it seemed like FBI would be able to get away, but I do think it was Perks that connected to him, getting him so incredibly low. Here is the initial play. Flash, knock up, smite, then the ult away from FBI, chased by the Prowler's Claw. He tries to create some space, but Blabber is there with the ulti, executing him down, popping the GA. But from here, you're thinking, okay, they could actually win this fight still. But then Perks over the wall, FBI just walks into the sleep, loses track of it, and as soon as that landed, Sven able to close the gap, get right up onto him. And FBI, critical mistake as the Fed member here. Cloud9 able to capitalize on the sacrifice that Blabber did give to pop that GA.
And FBI honestly does not make many, but that misstep going to be one he'll relive a couple times here if that is the reason this game goes Cloud9's way. Although there are plenty of moments of back and forth in this one. It has been a fun affair. But 6,000 gold still up for Cloud9. They're going to grab the second Baron here. No shenanigans in the Baron pit this time around. And Cloud9 still, despite the enemy team having the Dragon Soul, looking like they're poised to win this game.
They are. They're playing it really, really well. And 100 Thieves, unfortunately for them, are not able to actually find these straight-up 5v5s. You know, during that last Dragon, Someday was actually moving over to try to answer mid lane because Cloud9 had the push. They had better prep for that Dragon. As a result, 100 Thieves felt pressure to answer the waves, and that allowed Cloud9 to find an angle to start a fight without all of 100 Thieves together. And they keep finding these really clever angles and clever ways to start fights without them around. And look at Closer. That stopwatch may just kill him.
Yeah, oh. I thought there was a follow-up there, but Perk's actually going in over the top. He finds it with the Elder Dragon buff. Cloud9 from so far away just take out poor Closer. Now it's a 5v4 for your Nexus.
It's going to be a tough hold as the minions are pouring in here with the Baron buff. We'll see if 100 Thieves can do it.
All right, again, keep watching FBI. No GA up just yet. Now Hui going to go in and try and start the fight early. Demonte charging in as well, but Hui dead already. Now Demonte going to try and find the Tomple. Really, what can he get? A great cast from Fudge. Actually locks up the last two carries as FBI going to get killed. That's going to be the fourth, and now Someday, the only one left alive, as the bot lane ace is going to be served up for Cloud9 alongside the dub. They'll take it all as Cloud9 in very dramatic fashion will take down 100 Thieves and finally hand them a loss.
What a finish there. Cloud9 able to take it. This one was so back and forth, so action-packed, forcing mistakes from their opponents left and right. Rainover jumping up and down in the background there, looking so happy. And Fudge not impressed with his own play, I don't think. Head in hands, seeming a bit frustrated after that one. You know, perhaps knowing that him getting caught prior to Soul could have potentially cost them that game, but Cloud9 able to create messy fights where 100 Thieves could not have a clean front-to-back 5v5, could not find the win conditions for their composition despite having the Soul. It was really clever positioning, really clever engages and poke, finding good angles for Cloud9 because they had to be clever to win out in these fights, I think, late game, you know, with the Rek'Sai, with the Zoe. And let's be honest, 100 Thieves also with some critical missteps. FBI in that bot lane fight, stepping on the bubble, causing his death, then Closer. Zhonya's, after all the poke had already landed on him, locking him in place to delay his retreat and then allow Perks to finish him off with the Elder thereafter. But these are small mistakes, and a lot of them were forced by the pressure that Cloud9 put on with a really, really aggressive play style, and especially an incredible early game where they were really aggressive on that Rek'Sai. Blabber was just everywhere, killing people off left and right.
I think the saddest thing, Azale, is that we're going to have to wait a long time to see this matchup again, which sucks because we've seen it so many times already, and the last one was very much fun. But we're going to be stepping away, and on the other side, the Tigress will be having a chat with Perks, and the State Farm Analyst Desk will break down that Cloud9 win. Don't go too far.
Change of range.
Welcome back to the LCS, everyone. We have C9 Perks here for our Verizon post-game interview. This is the first time we got to see y'all clash on the Rift against 100 Thieves since the lock-in tournament. I know that you have expressed being a little bored sometimes when it comes to a stomp, but this was a scrappy one. On the personal Perks level of fun, what was your take on this game?
Oh, this game was pretty fun. I would play this one again. It was solid. 10 out of 10. It's probably the most fun game I've played in a long while. So yeah, I had a lot of fun. Thank you, Thieves.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun watching it too. It really was a scrap from beginning to end. And first things, when it came to the draft, as expected, Cloud9 was bringing something out that we hadn't seen before. Why was this the game where you guys wanted to have Sven on the Samira and then bringing out the Rek'Sai in the jungle as well?
Well, I think we just wanted to play a bit more aggressive draft compared to yesterday, where we had 3 losing lanes. We wanted to pick some aggressive champs today, and it's something we practiced a bit, so just feels good to play something we actually are confident with.
Yeah, and playing really into that proactive playstyle we see on the side of C9. But the thing is, when it comes to 100 Thieves, both of these are extremely aggressive teams. How does that affect the way that you approach the game when going against a team like 100 Thieves that love to execute dives early compared to maybe more of the slow-rolling teams that are on some of the other rosters?
I mean, 100 Thieves is just actually a pretty good team, so playing them is not very easy. But we kind of know what they want to do, and I think we sometimes still fall to their plays, but it's they play well, so they punish us when we make a mistake, and it's just good to have this kind of competition.
It's great to have that level of competition and to get the W afterwards as well. I mean, as far as the way this week has been going, you have had a tough strength of schedule, facing off against Evil Geniuses yesterday, 100 Thieves today. There's a lot of conversation of whether these two teams are on equal par alongside you guys and Team Liquid, having just faced EG and 100 Thieves back-to-back. What do you make of the way the top kind of side of this bracket, or I guess the schedule as it goes, is really developing here in the LCS?
Well, I think EG is pretty good too, but given the draft that we played yesterday that we're not comfortable with, it's it was hard to judge. I feel both times we lost against EG, we just played something uncomfortable, and they're playing well, so not to take it away from them, but I feel we have a pretty good chance of beating them, but they're definitely good. So I think there is some decent competition in it right now. We are doing pretty well. I think we can do better. We're making a lot of mistakes, but it's I feel we have improved since the lock-in. So I think the league is competitive.
Teams doing well and continued growth among them, something that we love to see. Perks, thank you so much for speaking with me.
Thank you for having me.
Let's go ahead and close out that banger of a game on the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you very much, Latigris. Perks, they're talking about how much fun that game was for him to play. Says it's some of the most fun he's had on the Rift in quite some time. I think I can speak for most viewers. Well, we can say we had a pretty good time watching it as well. Both teams willing to throw some heavyweight punches. And the action started from the word go. Very early on, level 1 fights, snowballing into dives. Walk me through it.
Right, so this level 1 actually did a ton of different things. Number 1, it forced Fudge to TP top, meaning he's behind. He missed the experience top, he's fallen behind. Bot lane, they also got a lead because 100 Thieves got the first wave. They got all the experience except for 1 creep. C9 missed all of it, so that led 100 Thieves to be able to push in bot wave. And with the top lane not having TP and losing lane advantage already, it allows them to go for this dive, which was actually insane because they get a double kill with no one dying. But also off of the level 1 mid lane, Damonte, he got zoned off the first 2 waves mid, and you'll see that Perks is level 3 to his level 1. And even on top of that, Closer failed his blue buff. It reset the patient, so he's super behind in the jungle, which led to Blabber being able to do this dive and Closer not being able to reply. So even though no one died level 1, literally no one died, it had a lot of implications on the game. It caused 100 Thieves to lose mid lane, lose a jungle, but it led them to win top lane and bot lane. So it made the game very Fiesta-ish due to the level 1.
I think it's fair to say like it feels Fiesta-ish, but I do think it only happens because teams are actually using the advantages that wonky level 1 gives you. Like plenty of teams would not TP their top laner down for a 3-man dive on 2 people. Like 100 Thieves is one of the few teams in the league that will actually try to punish their TP advantage that way. And same with some of the stuff that was going on mid for C9. So even though it does feel pretty Fiesta-ish, I do have to say that I think it's actually good play that you're punishing these advantages where you find them, even though it's not a natural game state by any means.
Well, and to steal a term there, naturally, I think, Primal, when you have, lots of lopsided matchups as a result of all that early action, it's no surprise that Cloud9 is a team that's willing to continue throwing those punches.
They absolutely are, and one of the things I like to see here is that, generally we associate 100 Thieves with being the team that goes for the side lane dives, but here we see C9 taking it right back to them. I think Huhi had a really nice outplay that allowed them to trade 2 for 4, and then later we saw another dive here where C9 actually sees the dive coming, they set up for it, and they counter it. And at this point, 100 Thieves, they actually are so predictable for C9 that they're able to mitigate any losses from even who he's setting up dive super well. And despite the fact that they weren't able to maintain dragon control here, it stopped the game from spinning out of control and allowed them to sneak back into it mid-game.
Yeah, Perks definitely had a lot of really big plays in the big game, too. We talked about the advantage that he had, spreading it around, some really sick bubbles over the course of the game. And, I was saying a little hesitant about calling some of the early stuff Fiestas because I thought it was good play. Definitely broke down a little bit more as the game went on, the amount of just sheer number of deaths that were going on across the board. There was definitely some opportunities where it's like, not sure about that one.
Yeah, well, let's roll ahead to a couple other fights because there were fights aplenty in this game. 23 minutes into the game, around the Dragon, 3-0 here for 100 Thieves. Who wants it?
So I think this was such a beautiful flank by Damonte. Normally you would expect C9 to sort of contest this. They do this little dragon dance, but instead 100 Thieves takes the fight right to them. They wall them off. Damonte goes for the flank, and they just go straight up for a fight instead of risking a dragon that could be stolen. So I really love this play by 100 Thieves. I think it caught Cloud9 off guard and allowed them to secure the dragon soul advantage.
I want to give a quick shout out to that Talia ulti. When I was initially watching that ultimate, I'm like, wow, that's a really bad ultimate because it literally didn't do anything on its own. But then I noticed Damonte TPing with that ultimate, and that actually set up the play. So those two combining the ultimate with the flank made that Talia ultimate extremely good. I wish 100 Thieves didn't greed for the Baron after that and had just went for mid tower instead. But, sick play. I like it. It's aggressive, and I guess if they got Baron, they'd win the game, but they could have just not done it and win too. But well, whatever.
Right, some things to reflect on there, right? In what could have gone differently. But again, you got to give them credit for the aggression that they had around the global objectives like the Dragon and being able to pick up the soul. But this here up top lane, Mark, 28 minutes in, someday of all people getting caught out by C9 with the Baron buff adorned.
Yeah, this is kind of the aftermath from that mistake that 100 Thieves made. C9 picked up the Baron. They were able to use it to extend their gold lead, which had shrunk substantially because 100 Thieves was playing the dragon fights better, actually, to get the soul. But when you start getting baited into fights like that, it's pretty much doomed. It was Operation Save Private Someday. Everyone starts flying in. People start getting picked off. And it was just some more great bubbles and stuff out of Perks to make sure that the reinforcements got cut off before they ever even got close to Someday.
Yeah, and here's the thing, Operation Save Private Someday just didn't need to happen at all. If somebody's going to get caught, that's, of course that sucks and that happens, but then it snowballed into a much bigger loss for the team, and I think it was at that point that they started to lose control of the game.
Primal's leaving men behind.
I was going to say, if we ever go like paintballing, remind me to hop onto a different team than Primal. It's going to leave me behind enemy lines. I know we're going to keep rolling forward to some future games, but Mark, we were having a discussion at the top of the day around the top teams. And within that, there was EG, Cloud9, 100 Thieves, and Team Liquid. Well, we were looking at this game to some degree as helping us determine who sits atop the table. Cloud9 getting to strike back, but after taking a loss yesterday, where do you sit in this whole discussion right now?
Man, I have my opinions about how it'll shake out at the end of the split, but for right now, I'm just enjoying the ride. Everyone's just trading punches back and forth. This game easily could have gone either team's way if they just cleaned up a couple more of their plays. So right now, I think it's a total crapshoot between those four teams about who's playing the best league right now.
I'm just happy we've already seen these two teams play each other 6 total times, and they will play again this split. Very exciting games, to say the least. That's enough from us, though. Freak and Kobe, they'll be giving you the cast for Golden Guardians versus Dignitas right after this short break. Stick around.